my mother-in-law's home, and the rain had come down, but it was a light rain, not enough to make anybody alarmed. And I was actually in the bedroom, and I began to look out of one of the windows, and there was a flower pot that she had, and it stood yay high. And I'm looking outside, and then I turn my head, and maybe like 2 minutes later I look out the window and the flower pot is covered, and I'm like, okay, something's wrong.
It came to the morning we woke up, it was like 2 feet going on and rising every second.
Soon as we got in the car to hit I-10, and I-10 was like maybe 3 blocks or 4 blocks away from us, the water started coming from the sewer line coming up. And by the time we was at the stop sign, the water had got so high that the water must have got in the motor, and it was like it locked up on us.
And rising. I told my son, this is how hurricanes are. We get some flooding. Of course, at that time, we didn't know that the levees had broken. We had the radios and listening to the people on the radio saying that they were getting phone calls from New Orleans East, out in Lakeview, those areas saying that there's water overtopping levees. Apparently levees broken. People on rooftops saying that there were white caps. They could see white caps like, the lakefront was going on Canal Street and things like that. So outside of that, I told my son, this is what happens. We have a hurricane, we have a little flooding, and we'll go to sleep, and tomorrow we'll wake up and everything will be back to normal. Well, it wasn't back to normal. The National Guard came in a boat. I guess we were taking elderly and kids first, or what have you. My 10-year-old son volunteered to go with them. So they took my parents, about 11 o'clock. They came and got my parents, and they put them in a boat, and they told us that we're taking them, and they'd come back and get us. That was the last we saw them for a week.
Well, they were announcing that on the radio, that if you're still in your homes, you can go to the Superdome, and that's where we decided to go.
And I said, we got to get out of here. I said, where we going to go? She said, I don't know. She said, maybe we need to go to the Superdome.
My nephew had an inflatable pool that my brother-in-law and myself pushed. We put all the women in the pool. We pushed it down St. Bernard Avenue. My brother-in-law and I stood in the water. And as we went down St. Bernard Avenue, we picked up other people, other families, other women, and the guys that they were with pushed as well.
We went to Superdome. It was like about 7-8 blocks from Superdome.
My reaction to that was, if this pool turns over, I didn't want my face to get in the water, and I'm being honest with you. I was like, this water is disgusting. If this pool turns over, I don't want to, so I didn't really want to get in the pool. I would prefer to walk, but the water was up to my neck. So my husband was like, no, you get in the pool.
The National Guards was lying to the people, when y'all get to the Superdome, FEMA's waiting on y'all. So I'm like, wow, it's like, okay, so if FEMA's waiting on us, we're going to get out quick.
So as we rode, throughout some of the neighborhood, we did pick up some other people, which I didn't like, because I was like, this pool is not heavy enough for, and at that point I was being selfish, because I'm like, okay, if we put too many people in the pool may turn over. But we did put other people in the pool, and we all were okay.
You deserve a better credit score.
Whoa.
Chime can help no matter where you're at.
Whoa.
Because with everyday purchases and on-time payments,
Whoa.
things can happen a lot easier.
Whoa.
Oh, you deserve some credit.
Whoa.
Get started at Chime.com. Check your credit credit scores for free and learn how you can improve them at Credit Karma.
Sweet Leaf is an award-winning sweetener brand, and their products are free from calories, carbs, and have no artificial sweeteners. It's a non-GMO, gluten-free, and kosher sugar alternative. More simply put, Sweet Leaf gives you a healthy option without all the empty calories and processed sugar. Its uses are endless when you want to add flavor and sweetness to any beverage, dessert, or food. Even bring it to your favorite restaurant.
Nothing compared to waking up on Tuesday morning and seeing nothing but water. There was no radio. There was no kind of outside communication going on. You kind of heard little things that was going on, but nothing until the people started coming in. And they were coming in groves. So that's how we knew. And it was just too much for us to handle.
And then a long line started. We sat down there and the Army, searched people and told people, knives in this box. If people had old medicine, they literally took people's medicine away from them.
Wow.
I don't know. I didn't ask any questions.
Yeah.
If it was outdated medicines, they took it away from them. So now you got people that's in there, don't know what they're walking into. People who need heart medicine. It may be a little outdated, but, there's something that they can probably still use to regulate their heart. Well, the military started doing, I guess, what they were instructed to do.
Yeah. Nothing you can say to them.
Nothing I can say. I can't supersede the president. The president and the mayor, the governor set these people here.
So when we got in there, they would check, they would search you like he was a prisoner. They wanted to go into your bag sack, see if you had any weapons. They was patting you down. National Guards were just patting you down.
The National Guardsmen, obviously, they didn't want to be there and probably never dealt with a situation like that. And no matter how cordial you were, those people didn't want to hear that. You were just another number to them. And I would say because the fact that we were in the dome, maybe it was just people who they assumed were poor or just whatever.
And when we got there, it was hundreds of people I saw. And we had a barricade. On this side of the barricade, they had family and friends of the dome, people who worked. And on our side, there were the regular people from the city. They were getting fresh, hot food. We were getting army food, which I felt unfair.
But early on, when we got there that Tuesday, the kids were on the floor playing football. They were different, the dome floor. Can you imagine that? You're in a Superdome, and they were on the floor playing football. Kids had footballs. There were games going on. It was a right place to be then. As the dome got full,
he says, no buses are here, and FEMA's not here. I don't know where y'all got that from. So I was like, Mom was like, well, we need to get back out of here. I don't care. We go in the water. We got to go somewhere. So they was like, once you in here, you in. You can't get back out. So I'm like, I said, how long we going to be up in here?
The Superdome took a hard hit, with ceilings coming down within the infrastructure and waters on the floor, different places. And now it's starting that cool air is starting to dissipate. So you got, people starting to get a little antsy. But at that time didn't matter because it was all one. It was one day. To be point blank, it was all one day.
Yeah,
you lost track of time. It's like you're in the twilight zone because you don't know the time. You don't care about time, but you feel that the dome is getting hotter.
Keep in mind, New Orleans with the uptown and downtown and teenagers into the wards, the 7th Ward, the 13th Ward, and so you had a number of different people up from around the city. You throw those people in one spot, and them not really knowing what's going on, it was an ordeal.
Definite demarcation between the two populations we dealt with. The people that we were there and had planned to evacuate to the dome initially came with stuff. They knew they could bring stuff. They came with stuff. They were prepared to be there. They had the things that were essential to them. after the levees broke, the people came in with nothing, and they were desperate, and they had nothing, and they knew what was going on outside the dome, whereas us that were in there really didn't know what was going on inside. And the two populations were very different to deal with.
I had co-workers in there. Co-workers there who had stayed behind because of elderly parents. I'm a letter carrier. Customers I knew. Hotel owners that I knew. Hey, I just decided to write it out there, knowing the severity of it and based on the past.
Well, once we got to the dome and we got in and we walked around trying to locate my other family members, and it was kind of like you had prime spot on the field if you had elderly that were sick, and that's the only way we were able to get there, because we were actually looking for my father-in-law and my mother-in-law who were sick, and so they say, okay, well, you can go on the field. We had the cots, and we had just sat on the cots and got a little bit comfortable, and I was like, okay, a day or two, this will be over, and then you hear just like gunshots, and then everybody just began to run, and nobody's worrying about, is there a little child or is there an elderly? Everybody's getting out of the way, so either you run or you get trampled. So I was like, okay, this is it. We don't, we're not going to stay on the floor. So at that point, we decided to go to the upper levels where the seatings were.
People start to panic, and you can feel it.
In what way?
You start hearing things. You start seeing the people who are smiling, getting answered. You start seeing, people's tempers flare.
You're living like pigs in here.
You're waking up. They're saying a guardsman has just gotten shot, and somebody in the dome has their weapon. But after about an hour or so, the guy barricaded himself into, I think, a bathroom or something. But then he gave up, and without incident, everything was back to normal.
Mm-hmm. So to speak.
That had to be the most trying time of my life. I was evil. I didn't want to talk to anybody because I just didn't know what state he was in, and the way that the news was portraying what went on, all kind of things were going through my mind. Am I going to see him again? Where is he? Is he okay? What's going on? And then it got to a point where you were seeing that the people that were in the dome, they were trying to take over the dome, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God.
Because it was pitch dark. You had no communication. The only people you was talking to was the people in this room, because everybody outside was huddled up and they were scared.
Talking to one girl, she said, I think some guy just jumped to the ground level. So we can hear screams for help. So Tim and I literally ran from the level we was at all the way down the ramp to the ground level. And by this time, it's a little hot on that level, and the floor is sweating, it's slippery. So we have to be careful ourselves. When we get down to ground level, we see like a cluster of National Guard standing around this guy. So I make my way through the crowd, and here I see this gentleman who's laying face down, and in the back of his head you can just see a pool of blood. Sir, what's your name? What you want to know my name for? He was speaking as if nothing had happened.
What was the look on his face?
Calm. He had a calm look. Just leave me alone. Didn't show an ounce of pain. That was the scary part. He was sitting down, and he just became disoriented and said, I gotta get out of here by all means. And I gotta go, let me go. And he literally bust through a group of people. And where he was sitting was along the wall, but there's a ramp that goes from one walkway where you buy refreshments to the seating area. There's a ramp. And he literally just leaped over the ramp. He could not take it anymore. Because by this time, you had people that was, had moved from the seating area because of the water.